think that's probably got us both on there. Okie doke. It's a little bit loud and echoey today, but we'll
roll with it.
Roll with it. Are we good? You know what we're talking about?
Yep.
You're pumped?
Woo.
Okay. 3, 2, 1. Good morning and welcome to Oneills on the Run Life in a Bus, and it is season 2, episode 5 today. I'm just going to turn down the volume because I'm a little bit loud in my own ear here. And we're travelling from Berrubi Beach to probably Stroud. Tom has been working flat out like a lizard drinking, so he is at work, and Ali is doing podcasting.
Yeah, hello.
She's so pumped. I just had to remind her of all the things we did while we're in these areas. Apparently 12 months is too long to remember anything.
Yeah.
So, recap, last episode we were at Berrubi. We went from Budgie Boy, Belmont, Berrubi.
Yeah.
That was episode 4. And then, so this episode we're travelling on from Berrubi, and our first stop was Fingal Bay.
Yep. So Fingal Bay's lovely little spot. Great beaches. The caravan park that we stayed at was the council-owned caravan park, and it was just across the road, right on the beach. Very dog friendly.
And it was a tight squeeze with the bus. We was like inches off a permanent van getting onto our site, but we got onto a site. So, and there was rabbits.
Rabbits, yeah.
Rabbits everywhere. But on the way from Berrubi to Fingal, we actually stopped out at Shoal Harbour.
Yeah. Yeah.
On the way, and Tom and I walked around to Mount Tomaree, and we saw some dolphins and things. Al stayed in the bus and done her schoolwork and had a little experience.
Yep, so a group of people about my age in school uniforms walked past and rattled the door because I'd locked it. And then this old lady, so we were parked across from this retirement village, an old man walked across and opened the door. This is before I locked the door. And came up the stairs only to see me looking at him, and immediately ran out and went back across the road.
Yeah, so I don't know, Ali got a bit of a spook and people got some spooks. So yeah, definitely that was our first sort of real thing with lock your doors.
Yeah, yeah.
Because I guess we're country people and we're a little bit slack on locking our doors. But yeah, so
Yeah.
when Al's in the bus now, she locks the door unless
Yeah.
she has the dog. And then she doesn't bother locking the door. But we had taken the dog for a walk and to look at Shoal Bay and wander around. Just because we'd left Berrubi and it's like 20 k's or even less to Fingal, so we had all this time to park in. So, you know, when checkout is like 10 at most caravan parks and check-in's 2, if we're only travelling like 100 k's or less, we just find we park up and do some walking or shopping or touring or have lunch.
Yeah.
And then we get in. So we're not too early into our check-in destination, and it's a real time management thing with this whole travelling slow concept. We used to just like jump in the car, drive 16 hours to our destination, think nothing of it, but now we're sort of learning to travel slow, or having to learn to travel slow. So drive 100 k's, spend 3 days, I would say a travel day, an explore day, a rest day, and then on to the next destination, and then do it all again. So it's just learning to travel just for that hour or hour and a half, and then you still got that 4 hour between check-in and check out and check in to fill. So you got to be able to fill your time in a little.
Yeah, and I suppose we're very destination driving. Like I remember from a young age we're doing big trips a lot. So it's very much destination. You just go from point A to point B, and I think now it's about learning to, you know, do the detours and like, oh, there's a cool waterfall up here. Yeah, we've seen 100 waterfalls. Let's go and see this one.
Like, yeah, and we also, because we lived quite remotely, especially when Ali was little, and we've always done long haul driving, it's like leave at 3 a.m.
Yeah.
Be all packed the night before, wake up at 3 a.m, drive for 15, 16 hours. I think the biggest drive we done was 26 and a half hours from Cairns to Tamworth in one hit. We stopped for 3 meal breaks.
Rotated. And you and Dad just went like this from 1 a.m. that morning?
Yeah, where we just rotated drivers for 26 and a half hours. So that was a kind of travelling we were used to doing. So now it's sleep in, clean everything up, pack the bus, have a late breakfast and a walk, check out at 9:30, 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
Drive 45 minutes, have another walk, have an explore, drive another half hour, 45 minutes, check in at 2 o'clock. So it's just learning to travel so much slower than we're used to, and it's something we've really struggled with, and we're 13 months in now, and we're still like we'll leave here where we're parked up now at Fishing Point, and we'll just want to hit the road, and we'll do something stupid, like we'll drive 300 k's probably and spend a day and then drive, it'll just take us a while to get back into that. No, we travel slow now.
And Dad's very much like, you say, oh, we should stop here, and Dad's just like, no, directions.
But he's also the one driving the bus, so
yeah.
I know it's like driving it's like driving a cattle truck, so you can't just pull it up anywhere, like turn down any side street and get snookered. You have to plan a little bit. But yeah, so okay, back on track. We went to Fingal Bay. It was $66.40 per night for 2 adults, a teen and a dog on a big bus site. It was a beautiful concrete slab, beautiful lawn. I think the site was 14 metres long, and we were 11.5, plus we were towing a motorbike trailer at the time.
And Dad had to jackknife
the
trailer?
we had to that was the first place we had to unhook, but we just jackknifed it onto site and then unhooked it. Tom's pretty good at managing a trailer because he's backed cattle trucks. So if he can back a cattle truck, he can back a trailer and a bus. So he's pretty good at doing that. And we stayed at Fingal for 5 nights on Power. And as Ali said, it was the council-owned one just opposite the beach. And the staff there were so amazing, getting us onto site and super accommodating and informative.
And clean. I mean, other than the rabbits, it was really clean and tidy.
Lots of permanents, but clean and tidy, like weekend permanents, not like
the only problem I'd probably have with it is about Thursday you start to get a lot of the like travel in, and by Friday it's
we stayed through the week, so we just done like Monday to Friday through the week, and Monday was quite a lovely day. Tuesday, Wednesday were very quiet, lovely, peaceful, and then Thursday there was more people, and Friday there was more people, and then when we checked out Saturday it was like chocker. So it is a weekend destination, like a lot of those places on the coast, I guess, but that was the only downside. Go midweek if you can. It's perfect. So it was our longest stay up until that point, 5 nights. It was the first time we'd stayed any more than 3 nights, I think. And so while we were there, Tom got his phone fixed because he'd smashed up the day before we left Tamworth. So he finally gave in and got that fixed, and Ali and I went out to the Shark and Ray Centre at Bob's Farm. Which was really cool. They also have the butterfly house there, which is amazing. But there's lots of like tanks, and they walk you through. So it's a guided tour, plus you can pay extra to swim. So I did that. I went in swimming, and it was really cool. And there was lots of Port Jackson sharks there, and I adopted one, and I called it Lowry. Yes. Ali loved one in particular. I thought they all looked the same. But yeah, you get to feed the sharks and the rays. You can walk through the water with them, swim in the deeper pools. It's not the Irukandji, I think, or something. It's not the new flashy one on the highway. It's out at Bob's Farm. It's an older one, but it's really personable experience, and it's smaller. And then so we did that. I think, and it was cheap to get in. I don't think it was much. I think it was like $30 each or something, including swimming and feeding. I think
so.
It wasn't very much anyway. And then we went through the butterfly house and saw the lizards and the butterflies and things. And then we had cafe morning tea in the underwater, which was included. I think you did get your meal included as well, and you get to sit under the shark and ray tanks, and they've got like a clear roof, so you can sit down and then look up and see the sharks and rays swimming around. That was pretty cool. And then I don't know what Tom did that day. I think he stayed home. He probably walked the dog or something. Not interesting. The next day we did the Fingal Spit Lighthouse Walk. Which was a Tom idea. As nearly all walks are. And it is a great walk, but it is a hard slog through the sand. And especially, so going across the Spit
And timing's so important with that because you'll get caught out there. We nearly got caught out.
Oh, we were, not too bad.
Yeah.
But you can only cross the spit at low tide. So you have to time your walk to go across as the tide's going out and come back before the tide comes up, or else you're trapped on Shark Island for like 12 hours.
Yeah, yeah. But going down in the sand across like the dunes at the start on like the main section, and then at the sand going onto the island was very difficult. Tom was enjoying it. I was not.
It was quite a lot. I think it was an 8K round walk, which isn't too far, but where most of that's uphill through heavy sand. Not compacted sand, like heavy sand coming in the top of your sneakers. And it was quite a warm day. But yeah, we walked all the way out to the lighthouse, and there's an old lighthouse there and the ruins of the lightkeeper's house. And it's quite beautiful. We walked around and saw the old boat harbour that they'd carved out of the rocks there.
Yeah. And there was a nice little like glaive of pine trees that went out overlooking, which was nice. Yeah, so it was quite a good walk, but it is a hard slog. It's not something I'd recommend if you're not sort of fit and used to walking, because it was a hard slog. So you do need to have a bit of fitness about that one. The whole Fingal Bay area is not super duper dog friendly. Like there's not a lot of dog. It's a lot of national park and a lot of the walks and stuff are no dogs, and a lot of the beaches are no dogs. But there was a cool little dog park across from us with fenced dog areas across from the caravan park. We use that a lot. But again, travelling with a reactive kind of dog is a bit hard because we would be in the dog park and then people would go, oh, I'm coming in too, and just let their dog off, and then mine would want to start a fight. And so it's very difficult. Yeah, we've discovered Mimi's reactive to the word cute. You're fine as long as you don't call her cute. She's apparently not cute, according to Mimi. And while we're at Fingal, Ali joined the PCYC. Yep. I haven't used it much. No. But now that we're back in New South Wales again instead of being in Queensland, I'll probably use it more. So did boxing at the PCYC. It's $15 to sign up, and then I think it was $10 a lesson. Yeah, something like that. So there is lots of ways to find, to keep your social. Well, that's one way Ali can meet new people, and she can keep her fitness up, and she can keep a hobby up. So, $15 a year to join the PCYC and $10 a lesson is cheap as chips. So, it's definitely something to look into, especially for teens, because it's a bit harder on them, I guess, than small children. Meh. Meh. Also, while we're at Fingal on the second last night, we had this huge storm, our first really big storm in the bus, and it was torrential rain, and we found one of our roof hatches leaked a bit, and it was an ongoing fix. We didn't actually fix that until August. Yeah. It's like 6 months of trying to pinpoint where the leak was, because there's no visible leak. No. But when we got torrential rain, water come in, so it took a while. It wasn't the worst storm. That was the storm when we were in Bowen for the first night that we were there. Yeah, we haven't got to Bowen yet. I know, but it was bad. And then we've just had a cracker on the Central Coast this week too. The weather's been miserable, and I had to get my hoodie out this week. I only brought an hoodie and a heated jacket as far as winter clothes go, because I didn't really plan on doing winter down south, and we're a little bit cold and miserable today. Yeah. We found a leak in the roof hatch. It took us forever to pinpoint it because it was just a tiny little seal that wasn't sealing properly. But, it's better to find these things early in the trip, I guess. We still have a few leaks just on the front. Little ones, and condensation on the glass is probably one of the bigger problems. I don't have Tom here with us today, so I can't remember where he got coffee every day. I know we went to the little pub at Fingal, and we had burgers and stuff around there, and we went to a 50s burger joint in Shoalhaven. Yeah, that was pretty fun. I forget what it was called, but they had these cheeseburger spring rolls, which were like the bee's knees. Yeah, it was like a retro burger place, and it's right on the corner, opposite like the jetty and stuff in the main Shoalhaven harbour area. So that was pretty good, and we done our first ABC radio. Well, you did. I wasn't involved with that, nor was Dad. So from time to time, ABC Northwest gives us a ring and checks in, and we do a little radio interview all about bus lifing and where we're at. So we've done our first one of those while we're at Fingal.
And I think we really love that area. I would go back to that area and spend some more time there. The weather was great.
Yeah. As long as it's not like weekend or the sites, is probably Dad wouldn't want to back onto the sites again.
Yeah, well, you got there, and we're not got trailer now, so it'll be a bit easier. But,
Yeah.
because we just unhook the ute and then do whatever you like. It's easy, eh? So after 5 nights at Fingal, we moved to Clarence River Caravan Park. No, we moved to Clarence River, and the caravan park was William River Park. I keep getting that. I keep getting confused. I keep call it the Clarence River, but it's actually the Williams River, but the town's called Clarence River or Clarence Town. Just to be like, it's so confusing. Why would you call a town a town Clarence when it's on the William River? Why is it called Williamstown? I don't know. I get confused all the time. But it was $40 per night powered, and it was 77 kilometres from Fingal to Clarence. I'm just going to call Clarence because it confuses me. And we stayed up the top in the closer to the amenities and things, up in the top section of the park. And then down the bottom section of the park is all like grassland and along the river, and it's very lovely down there. But we were there on a long weekend, and it was so full of bogans.
Yeah.
So many bogans everywhere, noisy bogans down there. But up the top was nice and quiet. But it's just not as picturesque as the bottom ones. But I think apart from a long weekend, and it would probably be very nice down along the river.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, but a beautiful spot, little pontoon out in the river, lovely little town. We walked around along the river there. It was sort of misty rain and stuff, starting to get into that autumn weather. We stayed at Clarence for 2 nights. And on our second day, we drove around. We went out to Dungog, checked out Dungog, had morning tea at a lovely little coffee shop there.
Was that the antique op shop store?
Yeah, it might have been. Yeah. And then on the way back, we went through Stroud and cased that out for moving up that way. And we went to the Farmer's Wife Gin Distillery.
Yep.
Which was fabulous.
I didn't get to taste the gin, but the pizza was very good.
So we had a pizza and a tasting plate, and we done gin tasting.
Yeah.
And then I bought about $400 worth of gin.
Yeah.
To be fair, I not long finished it, so it did last like 8 months or something.
Yeah.
But I did buy a lot of gin there. It was very, very good.
And Mimi had her like a little heart attack because this big fluffy dog, she barked at the dog, and then this big fluffy dog, which was massive, one of those big...
Saint Bernards.
Yeah. And like Mimi had a proper heart attack and nearly dragged Mum like across.
I was leading her past this table, and I knew there was a Saint Bernard under the table. I think she thought it was just some kind of big fluffy rug or something until it moved, and then she barked at it because it moved and it spooked her, and then it stood up and she just shat her pants pretty much
and just fled.
Just legged out, dragging me through the cafe area while this big dog nearly dragged the table to get hold of her. It was probably funny for everyone else, but it wasn't funny with me water skiing behind Mimi as she legged out from this big hairy bear that she thought was about to eat her. And then after we had eaten pizza and tasted many, many gins, we headed back towards Clarence, and we stopped at Rock Frog Winery, which was just a quirky little winery out of the way, but they did have a very good port and a very good Shiraz. And the hosts there were great. We tried heaps of wines. Really topped off my afternoon after a heap of gin, so you know. I did name ourselves the Booze Bus after that because we'd just done like Cessnock in the Hunter Valley and broke, and then we went ginning, and then we bought more wines, and we had so much bougie booze on board. Well, I just called us the Booze Bus.
We did have 3 bottles of alcohol into it last night, but
I finally finished one. We did not. Well, there's 3 open ones. Now there's only 2.
Yes.
We're managing.
And
then after the 2 days at Clarence, we poddled off to Stroud Showgrounds. And as we left Clarence, we had to go over this tiny little narrow bridge with wooden slats.
And so Mum would have been in the car behind us, but I remember being in that. That was a wonderful experience. And Dad was going across and it was cursing under his breath because, like, the whole bridge was making that horrible noise and you're like, we're going to fall in here. And then a car tried to go on the bridge at the same time as him. And I wish I got not on camera, but he was cursing and screaming and...
Yeah, so it was... I think the bridge is like 2.6 metres wide and we're 2.45 or something, I think. Yeah. There was minimal room between the bus and the guide rails, and then another car's just like come on, and then Dad just kept driving at him, Tom's just kept driving at him, so they've had to back off, and he was probably gave him a lecture, in, not that they heard it, but everyone else did. But the old wooden bridge, really narrow. The mirrors just went over the handrails, thankfully, or we would have lost the mirrors, but we got across there and we lived, and we poddled on to Stroud. It was 39 kilometres. It was $27 per night powered, and we ended up staying for 3 nights. We were going to stay for 2, but we ended up staying for 3. Stroud Showgrounds has beautiful clean amenities and a free swimming pool at the entrance. So if you stay at the park, you get to use the swimming pool for free, but the booking process is a bit complicated because the sign says book online, and when you try to book online it says call a phone number, but then the phone message says book online. But anyway, eventually we just parked up and the caretaker come and found us and we paid him cash and it was all good. But it was a process.
Stroud, the showgrounds, the back of the showground backs onto this nice sort of like forested
little
area.
Creaky, bushlandy area.
Yeah, which was really nice.
And we were there at the start of autumn, so it was foggy and cool and that misty mountain autumn weather, which is, I hate the cold, but I do love those mornings. Yeah. They are beautiful.
The only problem is that it did rain straight for 2 days.
Pretty much.
Yeah, otherwise it would have been very nice.
We had to use a laundromat for the first time to get clothes dry. We got the little golf car serviced there while we were there. I know we got lots of coffee there, but Tom's not here to tell me what the cafe was called.
I don't remember.
We went to the pub for lunch and it was pretty good. It was in like a new bistro-y area at the back, nice and tidy. Someone stole Mimi's red football. She had a red football, I forget what they're called, the iconic red footballs from the AFL, and we put it down outside a coffee shop while we had coffee, and someone took it on her, which was devastating.
Yeah.
No more red footballs to be found in Stroud, that's for sure. It rained a lot, but we sensibly parked on some hard gravel on a bit of a ridge at the showground, so we were nice and hard, and we got to use a fire pit for the first time. Sat around the fire in the cool mountain evenings and had marshmallows and port, which was very good. Tom and Ali went and played a game of golf at Stroud.
Yeah, that was wonderful. It was good spending time with Dad.
If you watch the video back, you'll see a face expression on that one.
But the golf course, it was very good to start off with because you just went downhill and then you went uphill for like 6 holes and then you went downhill again, and the course just wound, so it was very difficult. It just ended up being a game of
whack fuck.
Yes.
Ali's not allowed to say the F word, but it was a game of whack fuck.
Yes.
You lost a few balls and there was a few water obstacles.
Yeah. I think I lost 3 balls into the water obstacle and Dad lost maybe 6 and he kept swearing about it.
Yeah. So we're not great at golf. Tom loves playing golf. None of us are very good at golf, but we go and smack a few balls around and pretend we know what we're doing. So.
To be fair, Dad lost the handle off one of his golf clubs the other day.
This week, the head just snapped off at the driving range. So there's another golf club we have to buy apparently.
Yep.
And we wanted to move from Stroud up to Gloucester was the plan, but because it just kept raining and it was so wet.
And where you wanted to stay at Gloucester was very soft soil,
the
wasn't it?
showgrounds, yeah. It was so wet and boggy, and they said, we'll get you in and we'll get you somewhere nice and dry, but we just decided not to risk it, and we just stayed another day at Stroud.
Yep.
And I reckon that's us for the day.
Yep.
Look at that, 23 minutes, 24 minutes already. Just straight through there when we're not propping Tom up for the conversation. So I think we'll call it quits at Stroud Showgrounds, and then next ep we start our big migration north.
Yeah, so that would be from
Maitland, Tamworth, Dalby, all the way up We had a phone call at Stroud where we were offered a job at Bowen.
Yeah.
So we decided to hot-foot it to the Whitsundays, which sounded fabulous for winter.
Yeah.
So from next episode, we'll start our very quick 1,600 kilometre migration north.
Yep.
And we'll see you all next Thursday. Smashed it.
Ooh.
You don't have time to prop up a conversation, you can get through a conversation.
We did detour at the start with the... Well, I think that's good to, like, talk about, you know, how we travel and how it's difficult as very direction-y.
I do think so, too. I think, and, you know, like, Dad's like, well, we shouldn't talk out of sequence. But, like, I don't think it matters to say we did the raw challenge while we're here this week and, you know, we're going back to when we left, blah, blah, blah. Like, as long as we make sure we differentiate the two, I think it's just more inclusive.
Like saying Dad broke his golf clubs. Like, that's a funny little thing, you know, like...
Yeah, I just...
I think that's cold enough to ice. Ice.
To go. Vanilla ice, baby. That's us in the weather at the moment, ice, baby.